I want to swap over since we're talking about the abilities during the nighttime. Let's go ahead and talk as you see the wonderful effects on screen about the nighttime lighting. So, first off, before I say anything from what they were talking about, do you like the changes?
I love the changes. The little subtleness. I was kind of one of those that thought that it needed to be a little bit darker, and
Okay.
they made a comment. One of the lighting people on this made a comment on how they got inspiration from Hollywood filmmaking, where they
Yeah.
produced some soft blues to give off the presence of nighttime but still be visible. And I honestly think that they did a really, really good job of executing that.
Yeah, I agree. Before I say mine, Virtek, what are your thoughts?
I think the lighting overall was much better than we've seen in the past. Again,
Okay.
the reference to leaning into the purples to give it that kind of darker feel to it.
Ethereal.
Yeah, give it a little bit of
Yeah.
an eerie feel from time to time, that kind of thing. And the way they made it sound, I almost think that they're going to be varying the color of the nighttime light depending on like seasons or moods or the areas that you're in. Even like it might end up being
Yeah.
more on the purple end for the areas that are supposed to be spooky, and maybe more on the lighter blue end for the happier areas or whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. For me, I'm gonna say with everybody saying it needed to be darker, I was genuinely nervous that they were going to go too dark. And I love that Steven kind of made a call out to this. Um, and he had said that they wanted it to be, I don't think it may have been Steven, I'm forgetting at the moment, but they wanted it to be dark enough to have that vibe without obscuring vision or requiring a torch or light. And I loved that because for me, requiring that was just, it felt too survival, less MMO. Like, this isn't necessarily a survival MMO, it's a PVX MMO.
Mhm.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
like in survival games, I could see that, but I also don't like playing them for that exact reason. It's just way too dark. I can't see anything, and then I get scared.
Yeah.
Be scared of the dark, you guys.
Yeah, and Aberrat and Undead Pally are kind of the same in the same boat because I'd agree. Like, it's nice to have a dark night, but going too dark where you have to carry a light source with you at all times to me is a bit. That's like you said, very survival gamey. Not
Yeah,
trying to play a survival game or else I go buy a survival game. You know?
yeah. But also Basil had mentioned that you can see fireflies here and there in the darkness,
Yeah, that
and
was
like
great.
that calls right. That calls back to that attention to detail that you don't expect in alpha. Like I without even the lightning bugs, and you see them kind of like glowing and then fading, and like that attention to detail with those types of things are like things I'd expect in beta, not even currently, but we've seen it time and time again with like the little bugs buzzing around the light the previous time, and then the lightning bugs on this one. And I'm really curious what the lighting source is on, like where he's standing currently. Um, I didn't see like a flame or anything, so I was like trying to figure it out. But I like it. I like that there's like little ways to light your path, and it kind of shows you a pathway.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, they are also working on how the sky fades with color fades. So from like warms to cools, depending on what they're looking for. Like a nice sunset, as well as the atmospherics and weather they're hoping to showcase soon. And they're trying to reflect base lighting as real world as possible in terms of portraying the sun and the sky values. And that magic spells need to be visible with it during the day. So making sure it's not too bright at night so that it's also visible during the day. That kind of thing. I really love how far they've come and how far they're planning to go with all of this lighting. It's very dynamic. I love it.
Mm-hmm. Now, one question I have for you guys. So, did you pay attention to the lightning ball?
I did.
Yeah.
Now, you remember how it was the first time they showed it off and how they showed it off
Hmm.
now?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Ezekiel, how do you feel about the changes that they've made?
So if I'm remembering correctly, because it's been a while since I saw the first time the lightning ball came out, the original one looked almost too spherical. It almost looked unnatural because, like, lightning doesn't really like have like a solid form, essentially. So this one that came out, it looked more jagged. It looked a little bit more edged. So in my opinion, it actually looked a little bit more realistic, could just compared to the other one, because the other one just looked a little too shaped, for me at least, from what I remember.
Undead Pally is agreeing with you. Too much of an outline for the OG sphere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hi, Penumbral. What have I walked into? It's Viking night at the tavern.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
But hi Hojo, welcome in. I personally think it does look a little bit better. I can't put my finger on like what exactly changed with it, but I did kind of wish that there was a little bit of a light reflection, just like a subtle one along the ground.
Mm-hmm.
It feels a little detached at the moment. I know that this is all alpha, but that's just my opinion. But there was the notice that when he's near the water and he's casting spells, you kind of see that reflection in the water as well.
Yeah. I saw somebody making a mention about how a lot of it didn't seem like it came from a source, and I'm trying to understand what they were meaning by that. It was in the chat during the thing, but I'm wondering if it's just like it just seemed as if it just appeared out of nowhere instead of like coming out of the mage itself, like casting the spell. They'll rewatch that to kind of get that part pinned down. But yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. The original ball was very, very. It was a hard sphere, right? And the little lightning jibbies that would shoot out weren't very big. They would all kind of stop at the edge of the globe, almost like one of those things you can get at Spencer's, a little lightning ball that you can touch it and zip, 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 zip.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
And the light on the ground from it was really, really bright, and that was a lot of the feedback that I saw. And this one, I think they did it really well. And as a matter of fact, I'm trying to pull up right now as we're speaking the old video just to get a good example of it here to show it on screen. But
yeah, definitely.
I think the new one, the only thing I could ask as a suggestion / request is to give it back some of the glow on the ground, because you called it Chibi. It was missing that. That's one thing I was looking for specifically. But again, it's still Alpha 2, so they're probably still working on it, to be honest.
Actually,
and I would imagine.
Actually, that was one of the QA things.
Oh.
Specifically for this. And somebody said, will spell effects reflect off of the environment? And they said some will. They're talking about performance, and lights can be expensive performance-wise. So they may look into lights that spawn off of particles, but want to keep the performance in mind. So they're talking about trying to update a lot of these lighting effects to kind of keep in mind that, right now, if you look at the minimum required specs, it's pretty high. It's a huge jump from Alpha 1. Granted, it's been 3 years, but not everybody has like a 4070 or a 4080 or a 4090, and so at the very bare minimum, like, you want these things to look good and run well, and so that in mind is a lot of these lighting effects. So if they can find a way to reflect it, because I think they're trying to look into how to reflect it in a way that's very efficient with your computer graphics efficiency.
Okay. And I could see that. And performance is definitely going to be a thing. I mean, have you seen the rest of the game? It all looks amazing, and it's got to add a tax to the computer that's trying to run it. Okay, here you go.
You'll be okay until Alpha 4. Oh yeah, and now it's a lot smaller. It's a little less bright, and you can see the tendrils of lightning coming on the outside of the ball instead of ending at the outside of the ball.
Then I'm going to
very much prefer the new one.
See if I can find exactly where a lightning ball was on this video here.
I'm definitely gonna need to upgrade my rig for this. Yeah, Kexter, I absolutely feel you. We just updated Virtek's rig because he was struggling to play Cyberpunk 2077 and a few other games with his other computer.
Yeah, like the
So-
game itself would work, but trying to stream was just an absolute no-go. It was not going to be able to stream and play those games at all. Like Baldur's Gate was killing it absolutely, no matter what settings I used.
Yeah. I felt bad because I don't know what I'd be doing. I'd be doing something and I'd constantly see like going live, going live, going live. I'm like, oh no.
Oh,
So while he pulls that up, another thing that I wanted to mention on the skills, since we're kind of talking again about skills a little bit, is that somebody else asked, will there be there's the interaction. Okay, is there magic connected to time of day? And there's definitely magic that relates to time, as there's a goddess of time named Eterna.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts of that? That's pretty cool.
That is cool. The thing that is, wildly speculation, though, is that we have not really had any kind of, at least to my knowledge, any kind of like lore drops of any kind of time-based abilities or spells of any kind of chronomancy or anything like that. So I don't even know where that would tie into, because they kind of already, specified that clerics were life and death, while you had your mages that are going to be like the arcane fire and ice, which I guess you can kind of put time in with the arcane. But,
part of me thinks it might be the religion system. If you worship the goddess of time, perhaps your augment from your religion gets applied to your weapon.
That would be awesome.
That would be really awesome.
Be a whole nother level of immersion.
Yeah.
so
And
many
Hojo says
options.
chronomancy. Good word. I like it. Yeah, right? The god of truth, Thol, is the only god. Sol? Thol.
Okay, here we go. So there you go. I got the two compared on screen right there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Get that big old thing versus that.
Yeah. Can you put them side by side? Is there a way you can like shrink them next to each other? Sorry, I'm asking too much. It's fine.
I was gonna say it might take me a little bit here, but I could make that happen.
Stokely, I thought you were trying to think of Thor mixed with Shawl. So we have love, creation, fate, hope, truth, and now time. Exactly. That was one more deity we don't know of the seven.
Uno
Exactly. Exactly. You're picking up what I'm putting down.